Welcome everybody back to another weekend edition of the Indiana State 7th and L Bar and Grill Coaches Show. Today, it'll just be a look into the Indiana State basketball program on the men's side as head coach Vicky Hall and the Indiana State women are still going through their quarantine and their COVID protocols. So we'll catch up with them next week on next Monday. We welcome in the guy who just picked up career win number 100 in the Missouri Valley Conference. That's Greg Lansing. Coach, 1, congratulations. 2, I'm sure just happy enough that you're able to get a win over an in-state rival to get back on track after having to sit on a loss for a week.
Yeah, it was like a football schedule there. You know, you get beat over a good Northern Iowa team after a road split, and had plenty of time with the guys to continue kind of what we've done for almost 2 months now. A day or two of practice, just working on us before we flip it and prepare for more specific with the opponent. But yeah, it was a really good team win. It's always an exciting game with our in-state rival. A lot of fun having some fans there last night, and Tyreek getting to number 6 on the all-time. So it was a good night.
You mentioned with the fans, being able to be there. This year has been a challenge. Only basically the pass list. Players basically their immediate family has been able to see them play this year, but able to see so many familiar faces that normally we see on a very regular basis. Just what did it do, not just for your morale, but how did you feel it helped your team there down the stretch specifically?
I think it really helped, and staff and I watched the tape here this morning in the Holman Center, and our bench was unbelievable. Those guys were up cheering for each other. The crowd was into it from the time we walked out on the floor, and Coach Carey, it was a great, after the game, I'm just smacking the guy's hands and patting him on the butt. And he said, hey, let's get him to stop and acknowledge the crowd. So give BC a lot of credit on that, because our fans deserved it. And it was really cool to have them all stand there and clap and point in our stands. I always look up to see Christy up there, but a lot of familiar faces, and everybody was just so excited to get out and actually see a game live and in person. So I wish we could do it here. But Evansville had their 2,500 in there, so we had a good crowd in there.
We can go through all the list of accomplishments that Tyreek Key has done. We'll get into that. Tyreek's going to be on the show today, as well as Cam Baycoat. But let's just start off with the game. What was it about Tyreek in that game specifically yesterday that really allowed him to put you guys on his back? It seemed like there significantly, especially there in the second half.
Yeah, he's done that some for us this year, even more so. He's always scored, a consistent basis, but really taken over stuff. And he grew. I mean, he had 2 air balls in the first half, and that's pretty shocking for such a good shooter, but he stuck with it. And I know it helped. I think he had 12, 15 people from back home up in the stands, so I know that helped, but you can just see him beaming with confidence. He's talking more. He's so difficult to defend, and he's already one of the best to ever play here, and he just keeps climbing. And I know what he wants. I know he wants to be a Missouri Valley champion and play in the NCAA tournament before he's done.
I'm sure there are many moments where fans, maybe even from your perspective as a coach, are like, shoot it a little bit more, maybe often than he does. But of all the guys you've been with, I don't know if admire is the right word I'm looking for, but when you watch him and you see him make those decisions, what strikes you about the balance that Tyreek Key finds of, hey, like yesterday, he knew he had the hot hand and kind of rode it, but he also knows when to get his teammates involved.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a good basketball player, and I'd get frustrated with him at time, whether it be at the end of a shot clock or when we run something for him to get a shot. He'll give it up to a teammate when I think he could have his own shot. He needs to be. It's crazy to say. He can be more selfish on the offensive end and take more shots, because any shot he shoots, there's a high chance that it's going in. And one thing I didn't say, Luke, is he's turned into a terrific defender. I mean, if he and Trey aren't in the conversation for all defensive team in the Valley, there's something wrong.
What about his defensive side has changed? And maybe not necessarily changed. What's improved when you watch him on tape as a coach's perspective?
Well, it's always a want to. And Tyreek has incredible God-given gifts. His physical talent is outstanding, and I think he's taking it more personal. Like, this is their best player. This is the guy we need to shut down. Well, I'm going to do it, and he's done that consistently throughout the conference season.
Overall, what was the main takeaway from game one of Evansville from your perspective, Coach? You mentioned you went back and you watched the film. What was the biggest takeaway?
We did a lot of good things, but we also made plenty of mistakes. We always err on the side of really going over stuff defensively. So we've got our video we need to show the guys, go with it, and then walk through on the floor today for practice. That's about all we can do. But there's plenty to learn. And again, we've kept it simple offensively. When you have Jake and Tyreek and throwing the ball in there to Trey, you got plenty of weapons, and we got good contributions from all those guys coming off the bench, and it makes us a good team.
Well, you mentioned the contributions off the bench, but not just off the bench. Jake LaRavia with 20 points yesterday. Jake, it seems like, continuing to raise his game to another level, which we all kind of expected that this year. But the one thing we really have not talked about a lot the last month, which is good, is the fouling. That's not been a topic of conversation. What's Jake done to make that not a conversation?
Well, and we talk about him just like Tyreek. Those guys are unselfish. They're good basketball players that make the right play. If they don't see their own opportunity, they take great pride in getting their teammate a shot. Jake missed a dunk and a layup yesterday. I mean, he could have had at least four more points. We run stuff for him, probably second compared to Tyreek, and they make the right play. They're not going to force the issue very much, and they're two of the best players in the league. There's no doubt.
Coach, we'll get to senior day and we'll get to those guys in your last segment, but let's start with Cam. Cam will be coming up here on the show next. What a year he's had. Folks may not necessarily understand the whole backstory because they maybe have not been with us each and every day, but Cam took some time away there in late December, early January, came back, and I think everybody saw that there was just a refresh with Cam, and it's shown on the floor. He's hit some critical shots at critical moments. He's also taking care of the basketball at a high level for you. What's Cam really meant to your team, even though he may not be a stat sheet stuffer, if I can get that out, like Tyreek and some of your other guys, but Cam's value, I think, is just as high as those guys have been recently.
All you have to do is watch the bench's reaction when Cam makes a play. They go nuts. I mean, they love the guy. He's a very caring individual. He's a tremendous teammate, wonderful family, just high quality people, good people. And it's great to have Cam back. Everybody battles adversity, and it's a special thing to be a part of the team because they can help you through the adversity. And Cam's come through it with flying colors, and we're just hoping, pray for the rest of his family at all times. But he was terrific. Watching the game again, he's quiet. He's quiet. He is quiet on and off the court, but he has quietly made some very big plays for us yesterday.
We'll take a break here on the Coach's Show. When we come back, it'll be Cam Baycoat, and then following Cam will be Tyreek Key, and then we'll close out the show with Coach Lansing himself. You're watching the Indiana State Coach's Show, delivered to you by 7th and Elm Bar and Grill. Welcome back to the 7th and Elm Bar and Grill Coach's Show, always delivered to you by our friends at 7th and Elm Bar and Grill. Of course, this guy is always one of my favorites to talk to on the team. Really missed him when he took time away back in December, then ultimately back. Has been a huge part of the success of the Sycamores recently. That's none other than Cam Baycoat. Cam, good to have you, buddy, here on the show. I know, I'm sure for you, have to be feeling good, especially after that win yesterday on the road against an in-state rival.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. And yeah, it definitely feels great getting that win. Yep.
For you, Cam, we've kind of touched up on it really over the last couple of weeks with you, in private. I know it's been a challenging year for so many people on so many different levels, but it's been a challenging year for you. How would you describe the past year for you?
Really a roller coaster. With COVID happening and just it being ups and downs in everyone's life. Just noticing when someone else has a hard time, noticing that can be you too, and is never too far away from you. And that's kind of what happened. And during those times, you just have to rally together around your family, friends, teammates, people who care about you, and you can get through anything.
What's been the best part of the people who have rallied behind you this year? And maybe some of those people who have really stuck out to you came over this time.
The best part has just been the support. Just the constant calls and texts. Just making me feel love. I mean, they don't have to do that. Everybody is dealing with their own thing. So just them reaching out, that's been the best part, really.
You mentioned how everybody's dealing with their own thing, and just the way you say it really describes yourself. You're somebody that can be emotional and can show emotion, but you're very reserved. And sometimes it may be hard to figure out exactly maybe how you're feeling on a certain day. But for you, what's it meant to get that response like you've had really over the last couple months, and not really just last couple months, really through the last year? Even though I know things were challenging for you early on this season, it seems like that support's never stopped.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just everybody's pulling for one another. So that's really why the support has never stopped. And that's why it's meant so much. It's like nobody's into their own stuff too much. Everybody is fighting for a common goal on this team. So that's why it's been so important.
When you stepped away, that was during a time, one of the tough moments and one of the tough stretches for this team this season. And then really when you get back, like the first series you came back was against Loyola. Of course, that's when the first win came and things really picked up since then. What did you miss most about the team being away? And then when you came back, what was good about that break for you?
The thing I missed most was just the camaraderie amongst the guys. I miss being in the locker room, making guys laugh, laughing with other guys. That's really what I missed the most. And then something that was good for the break, it was just good to just get my mind off the game a little bit, spend some much needed time with family, being from Virginia. Don't get to see them that often. So, yeah, that was much needed. And I just feel like it just was a restart kind of. So I came back out here with a fresh mind, just ready to go.
Cam, if you don't mind talking about your grandmother, I know how special she was to you. That was one of the reasons why you stepped away to go out and take part and being part of her funeral with your family. How would you describe your grandmother for those of us that weren't around her, and what you miss most about her?
I mean, really just a nice lady. You know, she worked in the community, working for the state of Virginia. I just admired her a lot. I know a lot of other people did too with all the calls and texts I got. So, I mean, she was just a great lady, man. Nice lady. Always supported her grandkids and just wanted to see what was best for us. So that's really how I would describe her.
For me, I've lost one set of grandparents. Grandparents, it just seems like there is just that special bond that you'd be able to form with them, which is unlike any other bond you have in your life. As things have really been positive these last couple of weeks, Cam, what are some ways that maybe you've been remembering your grandmother here through this stretch and some of these good moments that have come for you?
She was a huge basketball fan, so just a huge sports fan in general. So I mean, sometimes I can just hear something she would say if I'm not playing as hard, telling me play harder or something like that. So I mean, those are a few ways I remember. Just remembering things that she used to tell me back when I was playing.
During this stretch for you, Cam, what's been the one thing that's really held you together, especially recently when you go through the stat sheet. Stats are, may not be like Tyreek Key and dropping a 30 dime on anybody, but at the same time, it feels like the impact you've had and the shots you've made have come just at really crucial times.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really speaking of a guy like Tyreek Key, that's one of my best friends here, and a guy like him actually texting me, just always talking to me, saying, "Yo, you're important. We need you. Just be big time," something like that. Like, so stuff like that helps because if you see a guy who on the stat sheet is doing numbers like him, and he's not really worried about individual play, then it makes it easier for everybody else.
I feel like, Cam, to go on Tyreek, he's one of the three seniors we are going to honor on Wednesday night against Evansville, being senior day. Tyreek, sometimes because of his demeanor, he's also a guy that's very reserved. Doesn't mean that he's not going to get emotional, because we see that a lot within our huddles and around our program. But for somebody that you say is one of your really good friends, one of your better friends here, what has Tyreek Key meant to you?
Tyreek's meant a lot, man. Just I admire his work ethic and everything that he does. Just day in, day out. He never complains. I mean, he's just a fun guy to hang with off the court too. Just a real knowledgeable guy about the game, about life. I just learned a lot from him. I mean, that was my first roommate when I got here. So at first, like you said, he is a reserve dude. I'm a reserve dude. So we went a few weeks without talking to each other, really. But I mean, after we broke the ice, everything's been smooth since, and I'm just so proud of that guy, man.
Who's funnier, you or Tyreek? Because I've always heard within your teammates, you two are the funniest two individuals on the team.
Well, I think Tyreek would say myself, and I think I would say Tyreek. But, like whether we're in the locker room or anything, Calix and I, we always like look at Tyreek, try to make him laugh or something, just keep it light. And I mean, he would say I'm probably funnier, but.
Cam, I'm glad you brought up Calix. Obviously, he had a really difficult injury right before the season started, rupturing his Achilles, and has been out from the team this year in terms of playing. But his impact has definitely not been out in terms of not being felt. Of course, he's somebody you live with.
Mm-hmm.
How's that relationship been for you this year in terms of being able to bounce off somebody? It seems like you guys clicked and meshed really from the start.
Yeah, that's another guy who I admire a lot, man. Just his mindset after that injury. That's tough, knowing that you're not going to play this season. And just seeing how he attacked his rehab process every day. Like, he's so positive. He's always thinking about something good. And just that energy wears off on you. If you're having a negative day or a bad day or something, just Kaylee's being around with his energy, it really impacts you and says, man, like, look at what this guy's going through. Like, I can't complain.
Cam, you were around, of course, last year. Haven't been all around your whole collegiate career with the program, but last year towards the end of the season, team was able to get hot, and then unfortunately, right when the conference tournament came, not able to get over that hump with Missouri State. As you guys continue to press on, a lot of it new guys, new mixtures, guys who necessarily haven't been through some of the struggles in the past, but as somebody who is returning, not that you hold on to it, but how much does the ending of last year where you guys felt you got on a roll but weren't able to really capitalize towards the end, how much does that kind of sit with you as you go through the closing stretch here now?
We definitely talk about it a lot. The guys who are back from last year's team, we talk about that a lot. And I feel like just being a year older, everyone being a year older, we understand we were kind of immature at times and just happy being in the moment at the time, but now we're just hungry for more. So that's why I think this team, we think about more and always keep that in the back of our heads.
Cam, as we get through this closing stretch, buddy, what's the key for this team? What's the thing that could really make this a very special ending to the season in your eyes?
Really just locking in every day. Like coaches said, you can't miss a day in February. Every day is important. So just taking it one day at a time, whether that's practice, rehab, whatever it may be. As long as we're just taking things serious and accepting every challenge that comes our way, that's really the most important thing.
Well, and on this note, Cam, I won't ask you to do any impersonations, by the way. We'll save that for once we get off camera. But in part of that, from a player's perspective, at times, relationships with coaches, that can be ebb and flow, but that's just kind of the norm of a player and a coach relationship. Coaches are supposed to be extremely hard on you guys. Of course, Coach Lansing picked up his 100th Valley win in his career yesterday against Evansville. What has Coach Lansing, not necessarily just him, but what's the staff meant to you during this time as you guys have gone through some good times and have gone through some tough times too?
The staff has meant everything to me. Just when I decided to transfer, they took a chance on me. So, I have nothing but positive things to say. And I see the hard work that they put in, every scout, every practice, everything that we're doing. Everything's just been serious. They love the game. They love being around us. We love being around them, whether they know that or not. But, it's just been fun. They're just fun guys to hang around and all that. And it's just been a fun ride, really.
I have a feeling on Wednesday night you may have a couple threes cooked up at key important times. Is that something that I'd be right about, or are we just gonna have to wait and see come Wednesday night?
I'll be right about that, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah.
Cam, it's always great to talk with you, buddy. And I know we miss you dearly when you were gone and stepped away. But man, how great it has been to see you really rolling these last couple of weeks, and keep it rolling on Wednesday night against Evansville, brother.
Yep, appreciate it.
Once again, that was Cam Baycoat. We'll be back here with more here on the Indiana State Coaches Show right after this. Welcome back to the Indiana State Coaches Show, delivered to you by our friends at 7th and Elm Bar and Grill. First time for me here at ISU in this regard, seeing a guy come in as a young freshman and his time as a savvy veteran senior. That's Tyreek Key, the first one I've been around all 4 years here at ISU. Tyreek now joins us here on the Coaches Show, fresh off his 27th career game of scoring 20 or more. You tired after these games, man? Like, are you exhausted, or are you just ready to go out and play like another 40 here tonight?
I mean, yeah, definitely after the 4 years being here, definitely a game takes a little toll on your body. But, if we had to play again today, I think I'd be all right.
I think you'd find a way. I don't know what it is about maybe Connor Burton. Maybe it's Hiroki recently working his magic. They find a way to get you ready for games.
Yeah, they for sure do. They're the best in the business, so I'll leave it to them to keep piecing me back together after a game.
Tyreek, it's really hard. We could be here for probably hours on end if we went through all of your accomplishments and all of the memories you've been able to rack up during your time here at ISU. But in essence, for you, what's the one memory you still really hold on to that's most special for you to this point?
I'd say probably freshman year when we beat IU. I think that was my first official college game. I remember just going into it, just being extremely nervous. Didn't know what to really expect. And it was just, crazy game. Of course, we ended up winning by a pretty good margin, so that even made it even better. But really just having that, and just all the games, really, I mean, just the trips that we've made, especially the Hawaii, the Bahamas trip, those are trips that I'll never forget. So, but there's a bunch of memories. So those are just a couple that stand out.
You are such a reserved guy. You can be a very quiet guy. But what's the one thing that maybe not a lot of folks know about you that maybe you wish people did know about you, if that question makes sense?
I mean, I would say, if you get to know me, I'd say I'm probably a funny guy. I think once you get to know me, I kind of get out of my comfort zone and I start talking more, and I'll talk your head off. But, other than that, most of the time I'm just kind of a laid back, just kind of a chill guy. I'll talk to anybody anytime, but, I'm usually not the one who makes the conversations. So, but yeah, I'm just, once you get to know me, I'm just real outgoing. I'll talk your head off. So.
Yeah, talking your head off, that's something you do all the time, Reek. I can tell you for sure. Specifically, if you add Tyreek Key in Warzone, that will definitely happen. So we'll save that. We'll save that for another completely conversation. But man, you've accomplished so much here during your 4 years. Did you think from day one that the career you've had to this point was the career you would have?
Honestly, no. I remember the first day I got here. I just remember like the first practice and, just I wasn't really adjusted to it really. I'm still trying to catch up to speed with getting my body right and stuff like that. And I never really thought I'm at the place I am now. I remember years and years ago, I just remember just being a little kid, just riding my bike in town and dribbling a basketball. I remember that. Like it was yesterday, and I never would have thought I'd made it to this point. So really just wanted to come in and work hard since day one and just try to prove what I could do at this level. And I've been somewhat successful, so it's been kind of nice to see. But I've played with a lot of great players here and still a lot of great players now. So, just being said, they've helped me along the way. So
when you say you never thought you would get to this point, Why did you feel that way?
I mean, just because, I mean, I'm probably from one of the smallest towns in America, probably. So, I mean, a lot of people don't do what I've done, I'd say. So really just, I think a lot of people have exceeded a lot of people's expectations of what I've done. And, I think I've set a good stepping stone for even like kids back home who thought maybe they couldn't do it. I mean, I've been in their same situation where I was, like I said, once upon a time I was riding my bike, dribbling a basketball off the road, just like a normal kid would. So, I mean, I think I've set a good stepping stone for the upcoming kids back home, especially who maybe think they couldn't make it this far.
What's been your biggest challenge throughout your life, Tyreek, in your eyes? And maybe that's something not even totally basketball related.
Um, I, I mean, really just, I mean, obviously, college is like a lot of stress. I'd say really just combining all the homework and all the practices, all the times you got to travel. I mean, it does eventually catch up to you. It does get very stressful, but I mean, that's why you make good friendships and you have good friends around you. I mean, that makes it so much easier. I've got a dog now, and he makes it a whole lot easier for me. So really just having those people, having your circle around you all the time, having a team around you, the coaching staff, support staff, they've made it a whole lot easier, especially last 2 years for me. So it's been a joy.
You talked about some of your great teammates. You passed one of them over the weekend in Jordan Barnes. You also surpassed Jake Odom over the weekend, sixth all time in scoring. Again, you can go through all the accolades. I can just simply ask you, what does that mean? But when you pass two guys like that, who I know you really respect a ton, what did go through you? Just knowing, because those aren't just names on a list to you, because you know those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I played with JB 3 years here, so just knowing him and his work ethic. I mean, he kind of showed me really how to work hard my first year here. So I mean, he's kind of showed me what it takes to be a great player in this league. So yeah, I respect him a ton and what he's done here. I mean, he'll go down as an all-time great here. And especially Jake Odom. I mean, he's for sure an all-time great with what he's done here, and I've learned a lot from him the past 2 years, and just working out with him all the time. I mean, he's really helped me on my game and just different aspects of all that, and he's been a big help.
Luckily, I've had the experience of being able to spend a day with you down in Salina. How much has Salina meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's where I grew up my whole life. I wouldn't want to be in another community in America. I mean, it's just the greatest people around, greatest supporters. I mean, they've supported me all 4 years. I mean, I get messages every day from people from back home just tell me how proud they are of me and what I've done. So it just definitely meant a lot the last 4 years, and it's definitely made it easier for me. Just knowing that they're always supporting me and stuff like that. It's definitely always will be special to me.
Tyreek, I feel at times you can get a bad rap in terms of, because of how quiet you are and kind of how your demeanor is. It's sometimes, people may paint you in a certain way. For you, can you describe just how much basketball has meant to you, but also just how much this experience being with this team, how much these games matter to you? Because you're just a guy at times that may not necessarily voice it a ton, because that's just your style.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, basketball, I've played it my whole life. I mean, it's just something I've always been around, something I always wanted to do and be a part of, especially play at this level. It's something I always dreamed about. And luckily, I got the opportunity to do it, especially the last 4 years. I mean, I wouldn't have traded the 4 years here for nothing. I mean, when the first day I committed here, I committed here 4 years to be the best student and athlete I could possibly be. So really just that knowing what I've done so far, happy with what I've achieved, but we still got many games left, and hopefully we can keep riding the ship and just keep this thing going.
How do you feel heading into Wednesday? With it being senior night, of course, you're going to be one of the 3 seniors that will be recognized. I understand this is technically a year everybody gets back, and those are all personal decisions for you guys to make afterwards. But assuming Wednesday will be your last game in Holman Center, Reek, what emotions are going to come to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really hit me yet. I still got a day to think about it, but so I'll let it sink in tomorrow and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, it's been a great 4 years here. And like you said, there's still always an extra year. I've not really decided what I'm going to do yet, but and just knowing that, like I said, the first day I committed here, like I said, I committed to be the best student athlete I could be for this university. I'm proud of what I've done, what I've tried to do to help this team get back on track. So really just knowing that, I'm happy. But like I said, I know we'll see what happens after the season. You never know.
You think of people here such as Miss Vicky, of course, your mom, and how much of an impact she's had on you, just one in your life, but also during this year of pandemic to still find time to come see you play. We're able to see Coach Edwards this past weekend, yesterday at Evansville, being able to come watch you. Those type of influences in your life, Reek, how big have they been? I know that's a really loaded question, but how big have those key people been during your time?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, seeing Coach Rob there yesterday, I mean, it meant a lot. I mean, he helped me get to this point. Him and Coach Feltner, especially them two. I mean, they helped me get me here to this point. And really just my mom, she comes to all the games she can, especially she comes to all the home games, as much as the away games she can. I mean, she's always been there. So just knowing she's done that for 4 years, I mean, she's a true warrior for that. And like I said, she'll always be my number one fan. Like I said, I'm a mama's boy, so she'll always be there. And Miss Vicky, words can't describe what she's meant to me the last 4 years. I mean, she's been like my mom, away from my mom. So just, I've met a lot of great people here, and I continue to meet great people. And Miss Vicky, she's top tier. One of the greatest people I've ever met. So just knowing that I'll always have her around too. She'll always be a person I can contact or whatever. It's just something special. And she'll always be, I guess she's my other number one fan because she's always hooping and hollering up there in the stands too. So.
What's your biggest accomplishment during your time here at ISU? Is it those 27 career games, scoring 20 plus, or helping Kenneth Jordan getting his driver's license?
I'd honestly say the Kenny Jordan driver's license. I've been trying for 4 years, and he finally got him. So, kudos to him for finally listening to me and going to get him. Now we just got to get him a car. So.
Well, I always joke with you. I don't think you're very willing to let Kenny get behind your Mustang yet, right?
No. I told him it'd be something dramatic would have to happen for that day to come. But I got to let him drive his own. I got to see him practice a little bit more, especially before he even gets in a manual. I couldn't even imagine that. So.
Yes, that's the other challenge from automatic driving to manual. That's for sure. Reek, we'll get you out here on this. I know you're a guy that's obviously been here all 4 years. Haven't had a chance to win a game in St. Louis. I know that is still a couple weeks away, but how much do you think about that in terms of just being a driving force for you to really make sure the guys are focused on Wednesday and take each game by game and know that you want to end this thing better than, unfortunately, it's ended the last 3 years for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing the coach has been preaching, especially coming down the stretch towards the end of the season, just finishing strong and taking that momentum to St. Louis. I think these last 3 games are going to be very important, especially just maintaining focus and just going out there and competing and paying attention to the details. And that's what it's going to come down to, especially down the stretch, just attention to details and, how prepared we're going to be. I know the coaches are going to do their job in getting us prepared for the games. And we just got to go out there and execute our game plans. But, yeah, like you said, never won a game in St. Louis. And, that's going to change this year. Like I said, we're going to take our momentum. We're going to go into St. Louis, and we're going to put on a show for the Sycamore fans.
Well, Tyreek, our first conversation, I think maybe lasted 5 minutes. This conversation's gone a little bit longer than that. From my perspective, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for this guy here, and appreciate everything you've done. And we're not done yet, so we're going to save all those when we're done. We got plenty more coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Appreciate you, Luke.
Welcome back, Coach Lansing. Just got done talking to one of the 3 seniors we will honor on Wednesday night, senior night. Coach, I know this is it's a year that technically everybody gets back, but still honoring these guys for their senior year will be their decisions, and what comes after that, or whether they want to come back next year, or whatever those situations may be. But they are part of our 3 senior class. Let's start with, we'll save Tyreek here for a minute. Tobias and Randy both coming in, transferring into the program. I know Tobias kind of stubbed his toe a couple weeks ago, but has earned his good graces back. What's Tobias and his 1 year meant to this program, and those challenges that he's had to face with you guys?
Coming in, we get him this summer, and with the COVID, those guys couldn't visit. So everything was by Zoom and over the phone. And you give Terry Parker, who's now at Alabama Birmingham, a lot of credit for him, past relationship. So we felt very comfortable about bringing TJ in. Yeah, guys, all of us have some stuff that we deal with, some of the stuff away from basketball, and he's done that. He's a good guy outside of basketball. He's a good student, again, good family. And I think we've really helped him. I think we've really helped him in some life lessons that he's needed to maybe change some things. And he is a good basketball player. And we hope that as we go forward here, he continues to help us.
I think the important part of that conversation too, Coach, is to bring in that his teammates really like him and enjoy his personality. And, yes, there's of course been things that Tobias has had to learn, but I think the big part of this whole conversation is his teammates have been overwhelmingly welcomed and wanting him back and to help him through whatever struggles he has.
I mean, that's a great point, Luke. And again, he is a good guy. He is a good guy. Personally, as a coach, when I'm out on the floor or interacting with our team, there's some things that I just don't like. And there's a trait or two that maybe he brought to it that he and I have been constantly working through. He hasn't been disrespectful. We have to make sure we always know it's about the team. And again, TJ is a good guy and he's a good basketball player.
Randy Miller Jr., a guy that had to really change his role a bit from what he's used to during his previous time at North Carolina Central. And we talked about really his path here on the show before too. But Randy got a start over the weekend, able to start yesterday against Evansville for you. From a basketball standpoint and other things that Randy has brought, do you feel maybe some of that experience that Randy has had can really benefit you here down the stretch specifically?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough guy and he's always been a scorer. And honestly, we brought him in. We probably thought he was going to be that starter because we really like Coop with his scoring punch and his maturity coming off the bench for us and leading that chart, being a sixth starter, so to speak. But then with COVID and Coop playing so well, we had him in there, but he gets thrust into the starting lineup, does a great job. And again, another really good guy from a good family that we're fortunate to have here because Randy's a very good basketball player and a tough guy.
Tyreek Key, he's a guy that I still remember when he first got here. He's actually what actually makes it pretty special from my perspective on Wednesday is Tyreek's really the first athlete here at ISU that I've been around from his true freshman year all the way to his senior year. A lot of guys have come and go between all of our other sports. He's the first guy that I've seen as a young buck freshman come in and stay all the way till he's that old savvy veteran. It's a loaded question. I can simply ask you just what Tyreek Key has meant to this program, but let me be a little bit more specific. What's the number one story in your time here that really encompasses everything that is about Tyreek Key?
Well, I mean, you and I have talked about it, and I maybe said it on the show. When we were recruiting him, I was 3 straight weeks going down there to try to get that done because we had to beat Evansville, who's 2 hours closer to him. And to see him, that town, support that team and him the way they supported him, packed house. He gets his 3,000th point. Everybody in the gym had a sign that said 3,000. Tyreek came out of that locker room that everybody stayed for him to sign it or take a picture with him. I stood there for 2 hours as he signed and took pictures with everybody from that community. I mean, that says it enough right there. And what a special kid from a special place. And just work ethic like as good as anybody's ever had.
And I think, too, the other aspect that doesn't get necessarily told a lot is how really strong of a teammate he is. And during Cam's interview, he really touched up on how just Tyreek just knows what to say at the right time to his teammates and how much he means to his teammates and sets that standard. Because of how Tyreek is, he can be a little bit of a quiet guy and not very wearing his emotions on his sleeve like some of us. But I think that aspect of Tyreek should always be talked about a little bit more from even my guys like myself.
Respect. I mean, that's what his teammates have for him. Respect. They know the amount of work that guy puts in at his craft. They know how hard he plays, what he does every day. There's no he's beat up all the time. I mean, he's sore, getting treatment with Connor, doing things. He works hard, taking care of his body. So our guys respect that guy, and they should. It goes back to Jordan Barnes, Jake Odom, guys like that. I mean, their teammates look to him, and they also know how good he is, so they look for him within the play. They expect him to make play. They rely on him and count on him to make plays, and just simply one of the best to ever play here.
Coach, I know you won't be a fan of me really doing this because I know you're not the fan of a lot of self-attention for yourself, but you mentioned obviously the word respect. Of course, you picking up career win number 100 in the Valley yesterday. I think it's clear to see how much respect you have from not just so many of your coaching colleagues within the league, but so many of your colleagues throughout the country, regardless of sport, regardless of even if they're a coach, whether it's just supporters as fans, whether it's other people that have had the chance to be able to cover you. When you go through that list of guys who have 100 career wins in the Valley, whether it's Fog Allen at Kansas way back in the day, to guys like Coach Heron, who recently passed away at Southern Illinois, to even your current guys like Porter, who's just in front of you, Coach Jacobson, who's on that list as well. What did that mean for you?
Luke, I really don't think about that stuff. You and I talk about it because obviously it's a possibility and those types of things happen. When that happened last night, I thought that was kind of cool. Getting 100, it's like an accomplishment where you say, hey, we won that many games. And it's never, me, it's never about me. It's about what you do and being a part of a team. I've been a part of a team my entire life, and there's no greater joy than it. And to share it with this group, this is a special group. It really is. I love them. I love being around them every day. Have an unbelievable staff that just, it's this stuff that you carry with for a lifetime. So it's pretty cool to do. But it's still about this team and what we're going to get accomplished this year. So our focus will be 100% on that. It's humbling to get the messages and the attention that I've gotten from so many people, and I appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
Well, and the one thing I would add too, and I kind of got to say it without getting a little bit emotional here with you, but I think it's one of those things where people don't really understand. They see the content and they see everything that we put out, but that's really a two-way street. You got to have that trust from within your coaching staff. You got to have that trust within the program to allow somebody like myself to be inside your locker room, to be on your trips, to really have an open door policy with everything. I think the content we get is really good, but the reason for that is because of you. And I just hope that people understand that, our fans and everybody else, the access I feel we have is exactly what separates what we're able to do. And it's because of that respect level that you have for all of us that make all of our jobs much more easier. So from my perspective, there's always the social media tweet, there's always anything you can send out, but I definitely wanted to at least make a point here on the show that there's been so much you have done for so many people, including myself. And I know there's going to be a lot more wins to come, and it's a big congratulations and something you definitely deserve.
Well, thanks, Luke. That means a lot. It's always about the people, and you've been around me to know there's nothing fake in our locker room. I mean, open access, that's the way it should be. I want to share it with people. I want our players to be able to share it with other people, and we want our great fans to be able to be inside the locker room and know what goes on and feel what the guys feel. So not many people do it as good as you with their productions and the stuff you put together. So we're very fortunate to have that. But when we say family, we mean it. And this is my life. Coaching basketball, it's my life.
And, it's my life too, being able to broadcast games. And obviously that's my ultimate goal and what I want to do, and how much support you've had for me in that regard, as well as let's just say that does not go unnoticed. Which, speaking of that, we got a game Wednesday against Evansville, which I'll be on the call with Matt Wren on TV on Wednesday. Just kind of to put in perspective, Coach, what's maybe something you want to see improve from Sunday to Wednesday to hopefully get a sweep here of the Purple Aces?
Well, no doubt there's great things ahead for you, Luke. You're great here, and we're lucky to have you. And I'll always do anything I can for you. Evansville, it's just, I wish we had fans here for our guys and our seniors to be able to hear applause for them, and the fans we had at Evansville were terrific. So that was a lot of fun for our guys. Evansville's a difficult team to defend and a difficult team to play because of the pace that they play. And Coach Carey, all the guys do an unbelievable job with the scout. There's some things we need to do better that we've worked on. They'll make changes. We'll make some changes, but it's still going to be how we play, and they'll play how they play. We'll have to be better than we were down there, and that's our plan.
Coach, appreciate the time each and every week, as always, here on the Coach's Show. We got another one next week before we head to Valpo, and a little bit here of you get a little bit of time, but first things first, you don't have much time here between Wednesday to get a win, right?
Yeah, true. We got it. We don't have the back-to-backs, which have been exhausting for me, I know, but the guys are resilient. They'll be ready. We'll go real light today, mostly mental, and walk through, go good hard, going at each other for a short time tomorrow, and hopefully celebrate senior night.
Coach, appreciate you, brother, and we'll see you here at practice here shortly, and we'll talk here throughout the week.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much, Luke.
Once again, that was head coach Greg Lansing for Tyreek Key, for Cam Baycoat, who joined us as well. Again, we'll be back next week with back to our regular Indiana State Coaches Show will look like. Again, a big thank you to our friends at 7th and Elm Bar and Grill as well. So for head coach Greg Lansing, I am Luke Martin saying so long. We'll talk to you Wednesday night against the Purple Aces.